Hello and welcome to our talk, the place where we agree to disagree. If we disagree today, it will be very passionately because our topic today is passion. My guests are Eri Fukaze Luman. She is originally from Japan and currently in America. And Mr. Fokke Brink, originally from the Netherlands, now in Greece. Enjoy. Now, before I start this rather special, for me, very special art talk, dear viewers, I'd like to give you a little bit of background how this came about. Just so you know, Eri Fukaze Luman, one of my two guests, I met for the first time 48 hours ago. So to understand this, I want to explain to you that the art talks have certain rules with my guests. One of the rules is that it's not edited and that my guests have a veto right after the filming to say, yes, great, you can release it really, or no, I didn't like it so much, please don't release it. And there's no explanations needed, just this or that, and that's fine. That's one of the rules. And this is so that we can speak freely, knowing that if it hasn't worked out, then we'll simply trash the filming. Now I want to give you some chronology of events. On the 12th of September, I wrote to Eri for the first time. Maybe I should first speak about Fokke. I have known Fokke actually for much longer than he knows that I've known him. Rather, I have known of him because some of my students in the 90s already went to his symbol classes then and came back and were saying great things about this Dutch guy working with calligraphy, and I didn't understand it at all. I met him then, I think about 12 years ago, and we had many passionate discussions since then. I think being passionate and passionately committed is an attribution which is true for the two of us. But back to the 12th of September this year, that's when the two authors of this wonderful book here, with whom I did an art talk, Women and Reiki, they said to me, you should meet the artist who's done all the art for this, and that's Eri. So I wrote to her, and after some back and forth, we agreed that we would meet on the 5th of November, which is the day before yesterday. So on that day, on the 5th of November, 11 o'clock in the morning, I recorded an art talk, and it ended with a catchword, which I suspect we will meet also in this conversation. We'll see. That was 11 in the morning. At 4:30 in the afternoon, I met Eri for the first time. And if I may say so, I think we got on like a house on fire. We understood each other. And I was so enthusiastic that all of a sudden I had an idea of an experiment that I wanted to introduce her to a fellow calligrapher, Fokke Brink. So that was 4:30 in the afternoon yesterday. So this morning, very early hours, just after midnight, I received an email with the person whom I recorded yesterday morning, and she canceled her art talk, which is really like the first time this has happened. But so it is. And now at 4:30, sorry, this was then yesterday afternoon, I get my chronology wrong. I introduced Fokke and Eri for the first time, and we agreed to have an art talk spontaneously today. And the reason why I'm telling you that is yesterday, both of them were like two exotic birds, not knowing each other, meeting in a similar environment, being curious about the other. They just knew that the other was doing calligraphy. And I had a hell of a job to say to them, save it, let's film this conversation. And here we are. And I would like to welcome the two of them now. And bring you on stream. Here you are. Hello, Eri, and hello, Fokke. How are you guys?
Hello.
Hello, I'm very fine. Love to be here.
Me too.
That was a much longer introduction than I normally do. Eri, you know, I am thrilled that I can speak to you with so much unpreparedness, so spontaneously, and I applaud you for the courage to do that. If it took courage, that I don't know. Uh, how do you feel, Eri?
Yes, it's really feel the honor to be here, and it's so nice to meet both of you, and looking forward to getting to know both of you more.
I will introduce the two of you in a moment to my viewers, a little bit more to you, and then we'll get into it. Fokke, how do you feel?
I feel perfect. I'm very excited about what happened. To meet such a beautiful woman and calligrapher who has the same passion as I have. And thank you for bringing us together here in this experiment.
I am very much looking forward to doing this in the future, taking me out of the picture. So, Fokke, dear viewers, I said it already, he's from the Netherlands originally. In 1984, he was a psycho-hypno reincarnation therapist. There were still a lot of hippies around at that time, I think. In that year, in 1984, is, as he says, that Reiki found him. From the beginning, he had questions about the background, the interpretation and depth of the discipline, and of the use, particularly of the Reiki symbols in the West. So he started to do research. And he started to share the answers he found with the community in his symbol workshops by using Japanese calligraphy. He today has way more than 10,000 students all over the world. He was and still is, and this is frankly one of the things I like best about Fokke, a pioneer. And he is a pioneer exploring still today, being open to new ideas, wrestling with them passionately at times. So a pioneer who over time has introduced Reiki in many countries, including Russia and Peru. He was also fascinated by the Japanese seal carving and became a master in this ancient art. Eri is from a small town in Japan. She grew up playing in the mountains, bamboo forests, climbing trees, and exploring the nearby ocean. At the age of 7, she started to learn calligraphy and expanded her knowledge over time. When she came to the US as a college student, Eri started painting on different materials, such as scrap wood that was on its way to the dumpster. At first, she simply wanted to save the trashed wood, but this became a call to action, to challenge the expectations of traditional Japanese calligraphy. It was probably, I can only guess at this, an act of courage to start adding color to her work. Sure, she will tell us about it. She is also a writer, and today she writes for bilingual newspapers, and she is the author of a book published in 2017. She holds writing therapy sessions. I should have gone there with my handwriting, which I can't read. In her amazing journey, and please, dear viewers, check out both my guests' websites, which will be in the description of the video and on the webpage I'm going to make for my guests. She eventually gave her attention to Reiki, in which she today is Shihan, a Reiki teacher. So did I do fairly with this introduction, Eri?
Yeah, Shihankaku for Jikiden Reiki.
So you're a junior teacher.
Yes.
Well, all the greater your courage to be with us senior Reiki teachers. But otherwise, you think I got it more or less right?
Yes. Thank you very much. It was very nice.
I will ask Foke whether he's happy with my introduction, and then maybe I'll show you a short video, Eri, particularly for you about Foke. Let's see. Foke, how do you feel about how was the introduction?
Thank you. I am surprised what I have done in the world. That was great. Thank you.
Indeed, indeed, you can be proud of what you have done in the world. And let me just switch on the video. It will give us a little break.
Thank you for showing that.
Foke, tell me a little bit. Calligraphy, carving these stamps, these seals. I mean, that's a long way. Why are you so passionate about this?
I don't know why I am. I met calligraphy in 1986 in a self-assessment workshop. And I grind my ink myself. I put the brush in the ink. I felt the rice paper. I made a choice for the rough side or the smooth side. I made one line and I was sitting in my own sweat on my chair and something happened. And I don't know what happened, but since that moment, that brush became my teacher, because the brush is showing me if I'm present, if I am 100% there. If not, I can complain to my teacher what I want. He doesn't answer. He just waits until I do it better. And that's magnificent for me. So my journey went with that. And then I remember Professor Mori from the Toji University in Tokyo. He asked me, how would I describe myself? I said, well, now I am like a brush in the hand of the universe, and I'm following the traces of ink. So it is, if I'm guided, when I do this, I'm in a different space. I am just following the traces of ink. I cannot make it. I have to follow it. And well, that's on paper. And in the same way, this is in stone. Because carving the seals for masters and other students, it's a meditative, spiritual work. And I have to tune in and to feel what is needed for them. And yeah, then you get these things that, yeah, they look like this. Oh, where is it? I don't see a wet order.
Hold it a little bit up again, not too close to the camera, maybe.
Maybe now I have to see if I have it the whole. So this is the right way, without spectacles.
Well, slanted a little bit at an angle. Yes, down. Yes. Okay. Yes, we can see.
This seal, for instance, was my last seal that I made in Japan in my studies. And the stone I got as a present on Mount Kurama shop. And the text in it is, God is in the heart of the bamboo. And that is why the seal is carved in outline. So the emptiness, the fullness inside the bamboo is there where the energy of Reiki, where God, where Kami is.
I'm interested to learn a little bit more about this meditative aspect because, Eri, when we spoke, you said something similar to that effect. And I'm sure you have different words. You know, when I prepared myself, this is the work I have done with a stone. And I did a course in which this granite came into existence in a mountain river up here. And the teacher said, take a little hammer, a piece of granite, and just hit it all the time and turn the stone around and around and around and take a spot on your own. And I went in middle of a small creek. I was surrounded by water. And I think this is about 10,000 little hits. And it was an amazingly meditative experience being surrounded by flowing water, hammering away. And as you spoke, this sort of resonated with me very strongly. Eri, remember you said in the conversation with me something about this meditative stage?
Yes. Well, first of all, the carving the seal, I've done it when I was in high school, and I made 3 of them, and that's it. But I remember how patient you need, and you have to be so steady. And now I understand the depths and the feelings of meditative state while we are carving such a detailed character. But back then, it was kind of fun, yes, but it was also difficult to do. So I did my best. But since then, yeah, I went through a lot of calligraphy phase, and I also had a conflict feelings about calligraphy because I'm so came from the different Jorge fell in love with calligraphy, like without any nothing, just happened, and loved it and loving it. But I started calligraphy as a child, and it wasn't my passion, and it was just the things to do because in Japan we learn calligraphy and just regular basis. Back then, had a outside school. We learn calligraphy in the school, so there's no meditative or anything. Rather, it was learning process, just to make the handwriting better, and just make the beautiful character, paint the perfect character. So it was okay. I was doing fine, but it's not. I didn't really like it. It was just okay. So I didn't think I'm gonna keep doing calligraphy, and the reason, yes, the meditative way of calligraphy. The reason that I do calligraphy now is because of that. That because I found, or I felt the moment of oneness with the brush, just like Jorge was talking about. Yeah, there's a little event that happened to me, but
there is a saying that one needs to learn the craft first, technique. You need to learn the alphabet first before you can write a poem. You need to develop a skill first before you can create art. And your work here, even just this, and I'm sure that's true for Focke's work too. That's beyond craftsmanship. This has a very powerful expression. So I want you to explain to me as a layman this transition. What happened in the transition, Eri, from you becoming a trained from school, a trained, skilled handicraft person to transform, like a metamorphosis, to this artist you are today. Can you tell me a little bit about it, please?
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't know how to start, what to start, but I was a high school student, and my friend begged me to join the calligraphy club. I just quit the Naginata club, and I didn't think that kind of calligraphy lesson or club is the like a real club, because I was a more sports-oriented person. So I didn't want to join, but my friend begged me, like, please, please, please. So I couldn't say no, so I joined. But that opened up my calligraphy life. I still didn't really care for it, but the teacher had a different perspective about calligraphy. So we had a chance to paint on the like a poster, like paper, not just a rice paper, but paint on the paper, or make the label for the sake, something like that. So it was fun, but after that, I didn't really stay with it. But leaving Japan to the US, I had opportunity to look at Japan from outside, and myself, also my culture, and calligraphy as well. Well, since I left Japan, I wanted to take some Japanese culture with me. So I took, I do calligraphy, so I took my calligraphy tools, and some martial arts too. And I always had tools with me. And if I had an opportunity to use that, then I did go visit the school, American school. Then I showed calligraphy, or some Japanese event I did calligraphy, but still I didn't really quite felt like I like it. But some reason didn't leave from me. Calligraphy always stayed with me, and I was wondering why I'm doing calligraphy. I'm not really have passion to it, and why. And then also, I didn't really like the traditional way. I know, just like Renee said, the learning the basic is important to explore more. So I do understand how important to learn the basic stuff. And so I think that I don't against towards the tradition, but I had a question about that. Just copying the text is all about calligraphy, and then that's what it is, and I don't like it, because copying somebody's text is not everything, and try to make the perfect writing is not for me. It's just maybe for every other people, but not for me. But calligraphy doesn't leave from me. Then just spend time like that. But one day when I moved to the US, I just felt that I wanted to do the calligraphy. So opened up the box and started to just move the brush. Then I heard that calligraphy is meditation. That word came to me, and then I'm like, oh, I know why. Now I know why I'm doing calligraphy. Because that oneness with the brush, that I felt dancing with the brush. So that oneness was just um, beautiful, felt the universal energy, and it was beyond the traditional calligraphy. So since then, yeah.
Thank you so much. And I was smiling inwardly because there's so much you have in common, you two guys. I mean, Foke, you must have been touched by that search for answers, right?
Yes, but I love what you say. I mean, when I look at traditional calligraphy, it's perfect. It's every line very black in the exact order. But my experience was that when I look 10 minutes at it, I get bored because there is no, for me, there is no dynamic in it. There is no life in it.
Mhm.
And when I studied with Edo Taishimano Roshi in Daibuzatsu Mountain Monastery in America, we used a different word. We didn't say calligraphy, but sacred painting. And three things were very important to me. That was the speed, the power, and the light in it. And so when you use your brush, I also call it the dance of the brush, because it is a dance with your key. And there is light in the lines. I know when my students with the symbol calligraphy workshop, when they make a first line, then at the end they say, "Oh, I don't have paint enough." I said, "What do you mean? The light is coming in." "Oh, yes." So, and then you see in the lines, you see the openings in it. So there is, for instance, that wonderful book from Kazuaki Tanahashi, where he has made his brushes every time bigger and every time less lines. At the end, he made one line with a huge brush that he created. And, and in that one line are 5,000 paintings. There's a whole world in it. And if you can look at that and see the presence of the artist or of the person who did it, I mean, all about, to me, calligraphy is being 100% present in that moment. And so I give special workshops. I call it Zen symbol calligraphy workshops, because we don't paint the symbols, but we just let flow the energy for each symbol with the energy behind it. And then magic appears. And then you see how people grind their ink. Yeah? You know already a lot of the character of a person. Do they grind it like,
Yes.
or so, and then you see how they take the brush, that they use a little bit of the paper or the whole paper. And then this is so fascinating. And it's yeah, to me, it's just showing me every time where I am in life. And that's what helps the students to find the next step.
Okay, guys, I'm getting bored talking about calligraphy. That's not what this is about. I mean, this is about the topic is passion, guys.
So you want to talk about passion? What do we do?
And of
Two
course,
passionate people, and the guy who makes it gets bored. Interesting.
actually, the viewers got it. Even the viewers who don't take an interest in the subject matter of calligraphy.
Yeah.
They felt both of your love and your passion for what you're doing. And I can only wish that they're marveling in awe at seeing such two different characters being one, speaking one and the same language.
Sure.
So I hate to be, it's 30 minutes already. I had prepared a video I wanted to show, and now I'm running out of time. I'm not going to show the video. That's what you now have. So you tell me a little bit, how important, Eri, is passion in love and in life and in love? Nice Freudian slip there. How important is passion, and what do you mean by passion? Eri, you first.
What do I mean by passion? Passion. The passion. Something that there's no reason for it, like no reason, but you are just drawn into, or there's no words to do this or think, no thinking, but when you notice, you are just doing it or being it. Yeah, that's.
Did I hear you say, if you are in that moment, there is no thinking? Did you say that?
Yes, no thinking. Yes.
That's very beautiful.
Thank you.
You know, but for me, I always saw myself as being very passionate as a sports person, as a motorcyclist, as a lover, in everything I felt. But then, and actually, that was the time when personal growth came into my life, where I consciously started to reflect on spiritual questions in life. When I started to understand, for me, passion was not just running faster, being a great lover, making a lot of money passionately, that you could find passion in the still point, in the quiet point, in the moment of the void. And I felt touched when you said no thinking.
Great. It's like a soul talking, right? If it's a talking, then it's a soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Foke, passion. You tell me what passion is.
You tell me what passion is. You could also ask me, tell me what love is. How can I tell that? I expected this question. I was thinking about it, and I have no words for it. I find it a difficult word, passion, because I feel drawn to do something, and I surrender to that moment. I surrender to the depths of an experience, and I let myself flow in it. And with what I do with the seals, and when I studied in Japan, the tea ceremony and Aikido and pottery, and no drama, you just do it with wholehearted, and there is no thinking, there is no goal in it. Then it gets a kind of act, a kind of doing instead of living it. And I found it difficult when last night I was thinking about it. Renee will ask me what is passion, and I couldn't put it in words, because your example of with passionate driving a motorcycle, it depends if you enjoy the driving or that you want to go somewhere. So with this, and also what Eri said, I think we don't want to go anywhere. we do it, and you live it full-hearted. So you surrender to that moment and enjoy it. I mean, there is no must, there is no force that push you, but it is an inner fire that burns, I would say. It just goes on. When I have the brush and I chant before I do, for instance, with the master symbol or with Reiki, with the kanji, I chant the Komyo Dharani. It is a Dharani to invite the light in me, to be with me when I chant the light out of the stars, the moon, out of the people, out of the animals. And then I bow and return in what I would call the Buddha energy. And that is a moment of being, not being. And it has a total different quality and different, not with words to describe, feeling.
This is amazing, the place of not being. And you said, Eri, there are no thoughts. There is, and I used the word void or stillness. And I agree with you, Fokke, passion is a difficult word, particularly in a Western context influenced by Christianity, where passion is associated often with Jesus and the suffering at the cross and so on. And of course, looking it up in the dictionary, it says a strong feeling of enthusiasm or excitement for something or about doing something. But that's only part of it. It's not only the excitement in a positive sense in passion, but it is also the fear, the anger, all these potential feelings which we describe as negative. They can also be associated with or part of passion. So I agree with you. And personally, I think that this moment you described, this inner thoughtless being and not being, has the potential of everything. And that's a true moment of oneness with everything. So with these wise words, a quick last saying goodbye. We'll start with Fokke, and then Eri, you have the last word. Fokke.
I just thank you for this opportunity, and I thank Eri for being there, because I really love this. And I don't have a wise word at the end. Just enjoy Reiki, whatever it is. Do it. Don't think about all the disciplines, the different things. Just be with it, enjoy it, and Reiki is in everything that exists. So don't worry about all the stuff around. Sit, feel, and enjoy it.
Great.
Oh, that's a big burden now, Eri, after these wise words from our senior colleague. But thank you, Fokke, and I'm saying to Fokke already bye-bye. And Eri, your turn to say the last words.
That's hard to follow after the beautiful words. The one thing, the calligraphy, Japanese calligraphy, I say because I'm Japanese, is for everybody. And I want people to feel that there's no boundary. There's no like right or wrong. So I want everybody to try this beautiful art of a brush. And especially Fokke and I, what we do is beyond the tradition. And we focus on the meditation. So it's what is more important is what you feel, and just be free, like let go of yourself. And that is not just for the calligraphy time, but everyday life too. I think we talked about passion, I mean, a little bit, but I think the passion is showing who you are. So through this invitation calligraphy, you can find who you are, like your passion. So I want everybody to try the calligraphy world and be one.
I think that's a great invitation. Thank you very much. I think that you got the message across that it is about the state of oneness, about freedom. Do you pick up what you said, Eri? I thank you very much for having been my guests, dear friends. I say goodbye to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear viewers. And I want to say goodbye to you and thank you for watching. And I hope you enjoyed this. Until the next episode of Art Talk in 3 weeks' time.